Hello, my name is Elizabeth,
And I'm Casey.
and we're the founders of Quiverful Adoptions.
And today we want to talk to you a little bit about the heart and mission behind Quiverful.
My husband and I have struggled with infertility for 6 years now. We've always wanted to be parents, so when we got our diagnosis of male factor infertility, it was devastating. We decided to attend a fair where we met with adoption attorneys and agencies. We were able to ask questions about the price of adoption and the process of adoption, and we left that day just feeling very overwhelmed. So because I worked for a marketing firm for the last 7 years, I decided why not just share my story? So through sharing my story on social media, that's where I met Casey. At the time we didn't know each other, so we met for coffee and discussed my marketing strategy. 6 months after sharing our story on social media, we connected with our birth mother, Brandy. And only a couple of weeks after that, we were holding our baby boy. Because we self-matched with Brandy, she actually invited us into the delivery room, where I got to do skin to skin and cut the cord. We still have a very open adoption with Brandy, and I look forward to being able to continue that relationship as Grant grows.
My husband and I started the adoption process over 3 years ago. When we started the journey, we were so overwhelmed by the cost of adoption. I can remember calling around to hundreds of agencies and attorneys all across the U.S., and I was getting quoted anywhere from $22,000 up to $55,000. I knew that there was no way that we could afford that without taking out a loan and going into debt. That was just something we didn't want to do, something we didn't believe in. So we immediately started fundraising. We were able to fundraise $7,500 in 51 days. Over that 51-day period, I came into contact with an attorney out of Greenville, South Carolina, which is where we're located. He said that his average adoption was $14,000, but that he hadn't matched anybody in over 14 months. I knew that if we were to sign with him, it would probably take us a really long time to match through his office. For some reason, that's where God was leading us. We signed with him, and crazy enough, 3 weeks later, we were matched with our birth mom. From the time that we were matched with Crystal until the time Alame was born, we had 4 months of waiting. I started reaching out to people, offering fundraising advice and support. The first person that I came into contact with was Elizabeth. Elizabeth and I met for coffee and became instant friends. We started talking about self-matching, coming up with a marketing strategy. We came up with that marketing strategy, and 6 months later, she was matched with her birth mom. A few weeks after that, she was holding her baby boy in her arms. After Elizabeth brought Grant home from the hospital and I had Alame home with me, we started feeling a burden to help our friends who were also pursuing adoption to self-match. We helped 5 people. All 5 of them had their babies home with them in less than 5 months, and all of their adoptions were less than $10,000 apiece. After that happened, we started having adoption professionals reach out to us and ask us how we were doing this and what we were doing. They asked us to speak at several adoption conferences over the following year. We ended up speaking at 4 of those adoption conferences. We were able to talk about self-matching and adopting debt-free, 2 things that we're so passionate about.
So the 2 biggest reasons why we started Quiverful was to help other couples have a more personable experience through their adoptions, but also to provide an active, affordable way for them to pursue those adoptions.
After we spoke at those adoption conferences, we started feeling a burden that we needed to help other families adopt as well. So we officially started Quiverful in January of 2015. For the first 2 years, Quiverful Adoptions operated as a for-profit consulting firm. In July of 2016, God started pressing on our hearts that we were servicing adoptive families really well, but we weren't servicing birth families at all. In January of 2017, Quiverful became a nonprofit licensed child placing agency. We are so excited to see what God has planned for this next season.
In order to do this, Casey and I had to surrender ownership of our company. That forced us to have to face our doubts and our fears head on. During this time, the Lord confirmed that this has always been His company, and then gently reminded us that His ways are always greater than ours.
It was never meant to be about us. It was always meant to be about Him. And by surrendering the company to Jesus, it allowed Him to get the most glory.
If you're interested in learning more about Quiverful Adoptions and how we can help you, please visit our website at quiverfuladoptions.com.